Telling me I did not warn you. Fair enough?
Yeah, I have to bring my student costume.
Go ahead and get your tickets out for me. I'm going to come on down and collect them. Where are y'all visiting from? Right there at the bottom of the ramp is a 2.5-inch step down. But if you miss that step, folks, it does turn into 3 feet real quick. Walker, party 2.
How are you? Fantastic. Quick show of hands. Who's taken this tour before? Welcome back. Used to come here every summer with my family from Connecticut. This is our first stop before we headed south. A lot of folks don't know this. Before Disney opened up, this was the main attraction in Florida. One of our boat captains, Captain Oscar Collins, has been driving these boats for 53 years now. I actually remember getting rides from him.
Actually, you can see down the water.
Really quick, folks, this is a U.S. Coast Guard inspected vessel. Do need to go over a couple quick safety features. Need to point out the 2 fire extinguishers, one above your heads to the right, second one above my head to the left. Now, should get hit by a torpedo from a rogue ocean submarine and start to sink, you'll see the original life preserver from the 1940s just above your heads. Folks, they don't float. Slip above your head, buckle up, and walk to shore. I will meet you there. Now, as we go along, folks, I'm going to ask you some questions on our tour. At the end of the tour, there'll be a test. Those who fail the test will swim back to shore. Our first test question, to the best of my ability, what I don't know, look up on Google, or we'll call my wife. She has all the answers.
How do you get rid of all this algae that's in here?
What's that?
How do you get rid of the algae that's all in here?
Time, and so the state took over. I'll go over that a little bit. About 8 years ago, they worked with all the farmers. We bought about 5,000 acres in the park now, so a lot of that is coming from the fertilizers and stuff, and that's gotten a whole lot better now. A lot better. We have more fish, more walleye. Yes?
What kind of fish are those big blue ones?
What's that?
The fish that are big blue?
Blue shad.
Those right here?
Yeah, those are blue shad.
Yep, it's amazing.
We'll see more of them when we get to the main spring on the way back. So a little history about Silver River. Runs 7 miles east into the Ocala River, then into the St. Johns, and eventually into the Atlantic Ocean. So I do get manatees here in the colder months. All our springs are fed by the underwater aquifer. The water here is 99.8% pure. Now our first spring is called a Spring of Stars, dedicated to all the movies, actors, and actresses over the years. First movie produced here back in 1916 called The Seven Swans. Some other notables are Legend with Tom Cruise, all the Tarzan movies, and one of my favorites, Smokey and the Bandit 3 with Jackie Gleason. He actually stayed here in town. My wife got to meet him and got his autograph. Alright, this first one's about
I should pick your idea.
Very deceiving.
Yeah.
We're looking through regular half-inch glass. It's not tinted or magnified. Each pane of glass weighs over 250 pounds. You can see a whole bunch of little white rocks down there. It's actually shell and limestone getting pushed out by the spring vent. Let's take a closer look. So each spring is very different. This one happens to be like a little ledge. Some are actual boils, some are actual caves. They're all a little different. They have their own character. Go back over here. This boat turns a little differently from the older boats. This has actually just been refurbished with a different power plant. It's much faster than the old boats, but it doesn't turn quite as well.
Oh, there's a turtle over there.
There's our first spring, the Spring of Stars. see a little ledge, you see the fish is going right in there. That's the opening to the spring. Anytime you see those little white rocks floating around, you've got water movement. So that's the opening. So we have about 20 different species of fish here, including catfish. We have bass, we have gar, we have mullets.
Do you have any invasive fish?
The tilapia. Yeah. That's a Asian fish that got brought over here. It's actually one of my least favorite fish to eat. I've eaten, I'm actually excited, I'm going on a grouper trip. Second day of opening, June 2nd. That's going to be a nice dinner that evening when I get home. All right, this next one is called Creature Springs. Who's seen that movie, Creature from the Black Lagoon? Raise your hand. Yep, me too. I had nightmares for about 3 or 4 weeks after watching it as a kid. About 8 years ago, my wife ordered that movie on DVD for my kids. We sat down to watch it. About 10 minutes into it, they got up and walked off. They were not impressed. They started having nightmares again. We actually have a replica of that costume on display in the Education Center when it reopens. A couple of years ago, we had our annual Spring Fest, and we had a younger gentleman in costume riding the boats. That was pretty cool. I have a picture with him. That poor guy was really hot that day. Let me get position on this one here. So right between these two rocks is where the monster would jump out of. This one's about 30 feet deep. These little fish you see coming up to the glass, those are called brim. Some people up north call them bluegill. Real easy to catch, a small hook, little worm on the end. Underneath the dock, you'll get them all day long. Used to take my son Nicholas down to Ocala River pretty much every Sunday. Got one of our first turtles going for a swim right there, off to our left in the water. So our most common turtles here at the park are the yellow belly and red belly slider turtles. We have snapping turtles, and we have soft shell turtles as well. Here's your next test question. You ready? What do you call more than one turtle? You have a whole bunch of fish. You have a school, right? A bunch of cows. You have a herd. A bunch of birds. You have a flock. What do you call more than one turtle? Anyone know? No guesses at all?
Turtles.
No? Ready for the answer? You know? No? You ready? Shell station. Right? All right, this next one's called the Abyss. So years ago.
When did they stop having people swim here?
Well, since the state took over about 8 years ago, for sure, there was no swimming area here for years. And there was talk about it opening up again before COVID happened, right where the old beach was, right by the captain's quarters. But I think it's been put on hold. Priority is to get the main building fixed right now. Hopefully that'll be done in the fall, they're saying. Maybe even in August, which would be nice. Then we'll have our ice cream shop back, the restaurant, the bathrooms. We really need that. Gift shop. There we go. Then go back over this first spring here. See how narrow it is? Anyone want to try the third attempt? You sure? Thomas will pull you back up, no extra charge. Usually I always have a kid on board that raises their hand. Yeah, I'll go. I don't think I would attempt that. A little claustrophobic.
Yeah, me too. Count on us.
Have anyone here from up north? Raise your hand. Anyone?
How far north?
Were you still snow where you're at?
No.
No? Did you know it snows here in Florida? Year round? It's snowing right now. I'm going to show you. So this next one's called a... Isn't that pretty? shell and limestone, which is underground. It gets pushed out by the water. It actually helps purify the water underground. It acts like a filter.
What's the story on the sunken boat?
All right, this next one's called, in total, when the springs are at their peak, we would flow 850 million gallons every 24 hours. So we're down to about 550, 650, depending on rainfall today. When the states ago about going on 9 years, I guess, they actually put a monitoring station. We're going to go by that downriver. About a mile from here, that monitors the quality of the water, the flow, the temperature, and a few other things as well. Now, since they took over, nitrate levels are down 30 to 40%, so the river is much healthier now. And here is our next spring. This is the Blue Grotto. Another turtle off to our right here. If you spot something, let me know. So from here on downriver, it's going to be more of a sightseeing tour. We're going to start looking for wildlife. Across the way, though, that is the Sea Hunt dock. Anyone remember Lloyd Bridges with Sea Hunt back in the 60s? It's the actual dock. We're going to stop there on the way back, time permitting, and take some pictures. We actually have a nice little pathway that runs parallel to the river. Will take you right down to that dock. They've got a little cutout of Lloyd Bridges there. You can take some pictures. That's actually a working dock. It was not. The red flowers off to the right there, those are called cardinal flowers. There is the dock, but we'll get a little closer on the way back so you can get some nice pictures. But it is untouched from the 60s. A lot of people have no idea how many movies and commercials and series have been filmed here. There's a lot of Hollywood history here at this park. What's kind of neat about the cormorants, you'll have a bunch of cormorants over like the Crystal River. And if you're on your boat and up to speed, they'll actually follow the boat right in front of you. And they'll land just in front of your boat, maybe 2 or 3 feet, and dive underneath the boat. And what happens is as the boat's going by the canal, it stirs up the bait fish. They get confused, and it's easy picking for them. First time I had that happen, I thought I was going to get smacked in the face with a bird. I was actually ducking down. I'm like, here comes this bird. And they do it all the time. They'll do it 2 or 3 times repetitively. That is an anhinga. It's a snake bird. You can tell by the beak and the gray and the feathers and the wings. This is called eelgrass, and I'll go over the manatees here in a little bit. I actually do manatee tours as well. I'm fairly versed with manatees, but although I do learn something every day, something new. I love manatees are pretty cool. Amazing creature. see the duck with all the beautiful colors? That is a wood duck. Absolutely beautiful. That's the male wood duck. Female's a little bit smaller, has tan feathers and white, whereas the male, yep, right there is the male and female, right? They're pretty big too. I haven't seen that big in quite some time. I actually just had a bunch of babies recently. A couple of weeks ago, we were heading downriver, and it was mom and dad. So dad was up front, mom was behind dad, and the babies are right behind them. And when they're born, they're probably about 1.5 inches long, about that big. And actually, the one right behind mom jumped on her back. Went for a little ride. Got tired, I guess. Well, let's continue on downriver. That's a good question. That one I'll have to find out. That's a cormorant. Off to the right. See how he has a hook beak and it's orange in color? That is a cormorant right there. Look ahead over to the right of the boat and see if the fish jumps back out again. See if he does it again. So if you see a fish jump out this morning, a couple times, sometimes up to 3 times, that's a mullet. And the reason they do that, their bottom feeders and their gills get plugged up, so to flush their gills up, they'll jump out of the water and land sideways. They'll do that a couple times. So they'll jump 1 foot to 2 feet out of the water. You folks hear about the monkeys on the island? We got the jungle cruise going. It'll take people off the scene at any time. Where can they go? Drops them off. It literally comes back 2 hours later and they're gone. Didn't know that they're fantastic swimmers. They're really good swimmers. They've been found as far north as Jacksonville, St. Augustine, as far south as Tampa and Fort Lauderdale. They do carry the hepatitis virus. They've never infected anyone, but if you get really close, they'll fling poo at you, and there's a way of saying thanks for visiting the park. That is not a made-up story. We actually have one of our volunteers. We call her the poo lady. She found out the hard way. Let's take a look here. We can't go all the way around the back, but this is Monkey Island. Now, just to our right here,
Boat I'm made by
that
plexiglass,
is
I think.
the gar hole. So let's see if we can find some gars this morning.
Yeah, they're awesome boats, they're boy. Got their own glass bottom boat.
Yeah.
There's a gate
This
over
is the
there.
gar hole. Let's see if we can find some gars this morning. We go out just a little further. And there you go, there's the gar hole, along with a little treat down there as well. So back in the 60s, there was a movie called Don't Give Up the Ship with Jerry Lewis. Looks like they gave up the ship today. That's one of your sunken boats you're talking about. There's more than one here.
There is a sunken boat
So from what I
inside it.
understand, this was an actual boat that they bought and sank for that movie. Didn't see any gars this morning. They're hiding on us. And spin around a couple of times, see what else we can find here. Then we'll start heading down river. River. A little more sightseeing. So off to the right here coming up is the paddle trail. See where those kayaks are at? So that runs parallel to the river. It'll take you right back to the head spring and where the launch the kayaks as well. I usually recommend that if you're not a strong kayaker to come down river, let the current take you down, and then paddle back up that way. A couple of years ago, right in the middle of summer, I had to go rescue 13 kayakers. I did 10 and then went back for 3. Yeah, on that, not on this boat, but on the pontoon. We have a rescue pontoon. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, there's another one right there. I probably saw some babies too. Eyes open. So I'll kind of go over just a second here, go over the manatees and stuff, and have you educate you a little bit about what we're going to be looking for. Off to our right there, just ahead, you'll see a couple of poles in like a box. Yep, off here. Yep, good sized turtle right there off to our right on that tree pole. Real good size. Right there. Big boy. Let's head down, Rudy. Off to our right is Slope Cove right here with the Indian settlement. Morning. Off to the side, please. There we go. Thank you. Once we clear some of these kayaking and stuff, I'll start talking about our manatees here in a little bit. Pay attention right now.
Jane is both coming here. They're on stick.
Off to the side, please, coming through. Off to the side. Pick a side, any side. Sir, right in ahead of us, off to the side, please. You're going to get hit. I am right behind you. Off to the side, please.
Now you notice. I think that's more fun.
Thank you.
What are the smaller green fish that
Smaller green fish?
yeah, there's
Probably brim. Probably what you're seeing. Alright, so we'll start talking about manatees while we're going down this way. So a lot of people think manatees are fat, fluffy like whales. They're actually not. They're actually all intestine, stomach, and lungs. And because of that, they can't control their body temperature. So in the winter months, when the oceans get to the mid-60s, they have to seek refuge in the springs, which are 72 degrees year-round. If they were to stay out in the cold water, they would get thermal shock and they would end up dying. Now manatees will eat 10% of their body weight a day, and they eat that eelgrass right down there. Think about that. An adult manatee can be 1,000 pounds or more. It's 100 pounds of eelgrass. Now when manatees are active, they'll come up for air every 7 to 10 minutes. When they're asleep, they just float to the bottom. They stay on the bottom, will come up about every 20 minutes, take a breath of air, and go right back down. Here's the neat thing. They never wake up. They'll come up to
That's the main attraction, manatees. Yeah. Holy cow. It's got
They're
scar.
actually sleeping.
But he said he always slept.
Yeah. Lazy. Always lazy. Eat and sleep and drink.
I'm going to spin around to the other
Boat
side.
caught one of them evidently.
I don't want to go over them because they're real shallow. If they were deep,
Yeah, he's
I would
got
go
a deep
over
groove
them,
inside.
but I don't want to take any chance of hitting them with the propeller. So let me float down sideways for just a little bit and I'll turn on.
Current speed. It's not.
They are sleeping.
And how long do they sleep? 20 minutes, you said? 20 minutes they'll sleep? How long do they sleep?
About 20 minutes, then they'll come up. There he goes. Just came up now. One of them. I'm going to try something here. I don't want to put them in any danger, obviously. I don't know if I can do this, but we're going to try. The current gets pretty strong over here.
It's popped up.
It's kind of shallow there. I don't want to.
Is that a mark on his back? Is that
Yep,
from a
that's
propeller?
from propellers. Yep, that's why I'm being very careful. You do not want to harm them. That's a teenager. Baby's about 60 to 80 pounds. When they're born, they're probably about munching away.
Look at this fan.
These are huge.
Isn't that neat? There's manatees right there, guys. Right there. Came back up. You're missing the manatees right over here. You saw them? It is so much fun. Like the company I work for, they give you a wetsuit, a mask, they put a diver in the water with you, everything is included, and they take you out to farm it. So, if you live in Florida and you have an opportunity to go, colder is better, but they are there year-round. The way you can tell when they're coming out from the ocean, from the Gulf, or the Atlantic, is they'll have barnacles on their backs, and if they stay in the fresh water for about a week, they start falling off. First time I did my very, very first manatee tour, I have to leave the house here to get there at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm half asleep, a little nervous doing it. Get all my people in the water, and all of a sudden the boat lifts up out of the water, about a foot out of the water. Mama came over to scratch her back underneath the pontoon. I was awake after that. I actually did it, I've been doing it for 5 to 6 years now. Never got a chance to act. I was always the captain, never in the water, and we had a captain bail on us. So I went out and I was the water guide. You got to do it once. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. I remember we had one guest complain that the manatee had bad breath. Lunch in one of our places, there's like a little bay there. 2 or 3 dolphins will go in there and they'll corral the fish. They whack them with their tail, they're pinned up in the corner, and then they go in and eat them. And you got to see it. They all work together to communicate. It's pretty neat to watch them do that.
We actually got out of the boat when they swam all around with the bucket.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a friend that'll come out here and swim with the wild gators.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that. You gotta know what you're doing.
If you get in the water with the gators, you don't know what you're doing to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's if you got a chance to Google Mark Emery, he's our local legend. He does he did a movie, a documentary about this place right here. He goes up to Alaska every summer. He just left and he does documentaries and filming up there. He's done some amazing things.
Wow.
But he's our local legend. That's Mark Emery, if you had a chance. All right, we start heading back.
We went to Three Sisters Park over in Crystal River. That was really nice.
Sir?
Three Sisters River Park. We went to there for the
Yeah, Three Sisters,
Yeah.
Hunter Springs. So I was talking about the lack of food lately.
Yeah.
So about 3-4 years ago, I started planting eelgrass in Hunter Springs, and we could find them in the Clearwater even in the summertime. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to sustain them, so we had a lot of deaths the last couple of years. They're actually eating the lettuce now. They're not supposed to do that because manatees will, just like any wild animal, if you feed them, that's where they're going to go for their food every time, but when that disappears, they don't know how to fend for themselves. In actuality, in the canal I come out of, there was a manatee statue, like a waterfall, going into the water, and FWC had to turn it off. Manatees have to have fresh water to survive. So once you get used to where they get water and food, and then humans are providing it, and the humans just don't let us. Good morning, folks. Usually a big gator hangs out here, but I don't see him today. There's some manatees downriver on your right.
That's amazing you have clear water like this.
The water level gauge off to the right there. So we're a couple feet down from normal. Once we start getting our summer storms going again, we'll be back up. More tunnels off to our right there. Trying to climb up the tree. Looks like that young man's enjoying his kayaking trip. Yeah. Not taking a nap, going down.
Alligator.
Oh, sorry.
Alligator right
That's all right.
there.
Oh,
Probably gonna take off now. Wait, gonna do. There he is.
yeah, he's moving away.
Moving now.
Yeah, he's moving away. He's moving. At least he's showing his body. Not the snout.
Yeah,
Up in
you
there,
can cut it
I'd
off.
like to show this to you right here. Just below the tree line, inch forward, just a little more. What do you see down there?
Road underneath.
Oh my
Kind
God,
of
there's a
boat.
body.
Dark out for you again?
No?
Oh, it is.
Look at it.
Oh.
Boat, canoe.
Kind of boat has a rectangle right down the middle. No guesses?
Glass bottom boat.
Yep. It's one of the original glass bottom rowboats from the 30s and 40s that sank. So folks, all those people had to swim back to shore and there were no refunds. That rule still holds true today. I can give you a piece of advice. You do not have to be the fastest swimmer, just not the last swimmer in the water.
That's true.
That holds true for sharks as well.
We'll have to compare pictures to that.
They did have two-way radios then.
No. Smoke signals, probably. Here goes Captain Bill. Guess what his last name is? Godspeed. Celebrity. Yes. I thought they were joking when he introduced me to him. This is Bill Cosby, like that, right? Right out there, right here, through the tree line, you'll see a big white building. It's called the Twin Oaks Mansion. That was our concert hall one of the times. Notables are Reba McEntire, Willie Nelson, and Montgomery Gentry. Absolutely gorgeous building. If you get a chance to walk down there and take a close look, it's well worth it. Another wood duck right there. Beautiful. Look at the colors on that bird. Folks, see that right there?
Two or three of them.
See the wood duck? Right there. Absolutely beautiful bird. Alright, there is the chief right off to our right. According to where that gentleman's walking. Now, speaking of palm trees, continue looking to the right. You'll see a horseshoe-shaped palm tree. They're on their way naturally. Rumor has it if you stand over and take a picture, you get 5 years of good luck. Alright, Captain, what are you going to do here? I'm going to stay put. Stay right there. I'll go around you. You're good. I'll go around you, you're good. I'll get out of your way in just a second. We found those manatees. Thank you for your help. All right, folks, our last spring, which is the largest spring, is called Mammoth Springs, not because it's the largest, because they actually found mammoth bones here. Now, this one is also first magnitude spring, and also one of the world's largest artesian wells. It's about 65 feet semicircle. The boardwalk actually follows the shape of the spring and the cave opening. Told by the divers the force of the water coming out of the spring is so strong it can't get into it. Let's go take a look. It's going to drop off pretty quick. We should see a whole bunch of blue shad down here as well in just a second. Sometimes get a gar that hangs out here, usually in the afternoons though, not this part of the day. He was hiding on us yesterday. We're about 55 feet deep, roughly, in the deepest part center. Obviously that changes with waterfall. You can kind of look at the boardwalk and see where the water used to be when it's on its high level. So we're still down a couple feet before we start getting our summer rains, which won't be much longer. We're supposed to get a little bit this afternoon, from what I understand.
Holy cows.
Isn't that pretty? All right, folks, we do have one more stop. We saved the best for last. We have 3 statues here representing 3 Greek gods: Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. They're using a TV series back in the 60s called I Spy, Robert Culp, and Cosby. There's a beautiful girl. Look at that. They're also used in 2 Bond movies, Never Say Never Again and Moonraker. They're 7 feet tall, made out of fiberglass, and weighted down with concrete. Let's go take a look. There they are. Kind of hard to stay on position with them with this boat, but we'll make sure it happens for you. There they are, Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. We're trying to get to the front of them so we can see their faces. So about once a month the divers come out and they clean the boats for us, and they give the statues a shave and a haircut as well. They'll be a little handsome. You think you're laughing, but a couple of years ago, middle of summer, the one male had a goatee and a ponytail.
Yeah. I saw that.
Let me see if we can get
Oh, yeah.
grab their faces here. Just a second.
I don't know how they would get them down there because you can't put your hands in the water.
Should be able to see perfectly here. Just about left side of the boat, we'll see that. There we go. There we go. You'll see. How about now? Both sides? See it?
No.
You don't see it?
Oh, over
I can
here.
see from here. Let me go further forward.
Up
How about
ahead
now?
here.
Oh.
See it now?
Oh, the shadow, yeah.
The
The
shadows.
wind's kind of blowing us off a little bit.
Oh, I see.
They're hard to find as the sun changes. I swear it feels like they're moving around or walking down there.
Oh, it's right there. Oh, that's there. Yeah, I see them. I know it's easy for that.
All right, show of hands who did not see the statues. Anyone not see the statues? I will warn you before you raise your hand. If you do, I'm going to throw you in. I make sure everyone gets to see the statues.
Did you get a picture of that?
All right, folks, I'm going to spin around when I get home. You will eat ice cream 3 times a day. We let 'em. So we don't keep any ice cream in the house anymore. Yeah, we're gonna get pushed off a little bit here. We're gonna get this a little different. Hang tight. Wind's got me pretty good there, Josh. Luckily you got this new motor. Can you push me over or you want me to go give it another shot?
No, I got you.
All right, we're going to bump a little bit. Hang tight, folks. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us at Silver Spring State Park. I hope you stay a little bit more and walk around. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Come and join us again.
welcome.
Last call for 12:35. Last bottom note.
Just before the snow bomb, we turn around. Yeah.
How are you doing, sir?
Traumatized na ba siya ni Panda?
Ha?
Oh, gusto mo natin yung ano?
Hindi panda.